I hate buying games with my friends. Not because I don't mess with them, but because it's almost impossible to win. No, not this type of winning, but rather not winning when buying a fucking game. If you're like me and have had this curse laid upon you of buying games with your friends only to completely abandon them after a short while, then welcome to the club. Now I'm not gonna play innocent and say I am only a victim of this curse, because I do my fair share of handing this shit out, recommending games that pique my interest to never play again. Sorry guys. But how does this happen? Or better question is, why does it keep happening? Because I can recall the numerous times my friends have told me to buy a certain game only to have it fall short and never be touched again. I mean, I have a whole library of games to prove it, and you'd think I would have learned my lesson by now. But honestly, if you give me a compelling offer, I'd still be very much open to that idea.
Get in the ship! Get in the ship! I'm gonna roll. Oh my. Oh my.
Well, I'd say a good part of this is FOMO, the fear of missing out. This is especially prevalent in gaming culture. As a shared space of many people talking about games, there is a real fear of missing out on that conversation. I think many of you have experienced it with new game hype release, persuading you to buy games that you normally wouldn't, or leading you to buy a game now instead of waiting on a sale because everyone's playing it right now. But in this scenario, it's a bit different. When a friend recommends you a new game to try, it can usually be because whatever you guys are playing right now has become stale and boring. And then something new and fresh piques your interest. There can be a slight hitch in the back of your mind, asking yourself, you know, why not? You already find the concept of the game intriguing enough. So then you start to build that what if. What if this game is different? See, games have a golden age to them, but that golden age may not be the same for everyone. Let me elaborate. A game that I think many people had a golden age with was Fortnite. For me specifically, and I think for a lot of people, that time was of seasons 1 through 4.
This guy a fuck? Oh my god! Yeah! Let's go! Oh! What? I fell through the floor! What do you mean? Get off the damn thing!
Fortnite had this explosive boom in popularity, and everyone and their moms was playing it. To me, this was the golden age, because while I come back to this game every now and then, I don't think anything will top my experience during that time period of the game. But see, that's not the case for everybody. I have a very nostalgic point of view on this game, but Fortnite has grown rapidly throughout the years and expanded into something way bigger than anyone could have ever expected. With so many collabs to bring people into this game, and game modes like no build favoring a more broader casual audience while still being relatively competitive, and Guitar Hero? All of these have kept Fortnite with a big player base, still going strong, and for many, this can be the golden age for Fortnite. I mean, who the fuck would have guessed you'd be seeing characters like these all in the same game doing some random ass TikTok dances? Fortnite is definitely one of the first to do something on this large of a scale. Like, what, is this true? Anyways, back to what I was saying. Games can have these golden times to them, and maybe the game you're looking at can create some good memories, and you might not want to miss out on that. Because I'm not gonna lie, some of the games that were brought up like this ended up being hella fun and created some great ass clips.
No, I think you need to you need to turn it on a little bit faster, bro.
Oh, listen.
Hey, boom. Speed, yo.
How'd you know?
What are you?
Oh, juice! Juice!
What? Dude, go. What the fuck?
And while I may not play these games ever again, I can still hold them in that high regard for giving me some fun memories to look back on. Now, it may not be on the scale of the Fortnite example I gave, that's definitely an extreme case, but there are many games that I like that become much more desirable when there's more talk circulating about them.
Man, you extend
Viral games that blow up on social media because of the funny interactions you can have while playing with your friends are usually the main culprit for this type of feeling, because these games hit extra hard when everyone is talking about it. That is part of the charm for these games, and buying it later will just not hit the same. To these games, that money spent may not seem worth it because they didn't really get that much playtime out of it. But to me, even if I didn't get the playtime I wanted out of it, I still think it was plenty worth it for me.
I'm good, bro.
Oh! Why'd it go for me? Okay.
Oh shit.
Hey, you dropped the loot though.
Hold them out, bro.
Are you trolling?
I'm sure that Helldivers 2 is a game that many people considered. It got pretty big at the start of the year, and maybe you can attribute its slow decline of players to the Sony controversy, but that's just the nature of modern games riding the waves of hype. It will peak in player activity and count during its release, and slowly go down. It's natural for any game. I myself had considered buying and recommending this game to my friends when the hype for this game was at its peak. I held off on it because $40 was still pretty steep for me, and I know not many of my friends would have been down to drop 40 on a new game like this that could have possibly failed. And while I'm kind of glad I didn't, because I think by this time I probably would have slowed down playing this game or even stopped playing it at all by this point, because my perception of the game was very heavily influenced by the talk and the clips thrown at me.
If you're doing it detonates, I'm gonna laugh.
But who knows, if I bought it, maybe I would still be playing it right now. And I think many people will agree that it is a great game, but for me, it's definitely not something I could see myself playing for terribly too long. And that's not a bad thing. For many, it served its purpose for being the entertainment factor for the months that they played it in, and will still consider it a great game even if they don't play it now. It's important to understand the longevity of these games. For me, most of these games aren't really super grindy that drain hours out of your day. It's usually a smaller title or game on sale that has an intriguing enough concept to consider buying. And depending on the game, throughout playing, that charm of the game will at some point die. It can be 20 hours in or even 1 hour just after buying it. I think this can be specifically applied to survival games for me, mostly those without a goal in mind and kind of well just surviving. I think that with these games in mind, they can get to at some point a little stale, whether the gameplay loop being too repetitive or it not being able to keep up with the first hours of playage. Content can be consumed faster than it can be produced, so naturally, if you are playing it a bunch, you will run out of content and will have to wait for devs to release new content. For some though, this drought comes at a much quicker pace. Something that adds to this curse, in my experience, is when someone is a little late to the game. And this is when the issue is mostly on me, but I'm going to try to justify myself here. When I buy a game and recommend my friends to play it, if I really want to play a game, I would like for them to join me, but if it's taking too long, I can get a little impatient and buy the game on my own, or maybe only some of us only buy the game. Of course, we start playing and we are joining the game, and after a couple of weeks go by, through the content, it starts to get a little stale. Of course, we are still enjoying it, so we still recommend the game to our friends, but unfortunately, by the time they buy the game, its lifespan for us has already passed its time, and the rest of us don't really feel like playing it anymore. It's this kind of wrong timing that adds to this curse, where most of these games won't have that longevity that lasts for a very long time. It's something new and fresh for us, and on the rare cases, can stick and come back to in the future. Every 2 week Minecraft phase, obviously. But that being said, there is just times when the expectations don't meet the reality, and the game that your friends hype up just doesn't match the vibe. The game could be boring, could give us headaches, and many other reasons why we don't want to play a certain game. Like the point I mentioned before where it could have gotten repetitive and it just didn't feel as fun as it first did. And so the game kind of just falls short for everyone.
Yeah.
Of course, we don't want to admit it because, well, we just dropped cash on this game and we somehow have to justify this purchase. We won't conjectively refund this game because, hey, you never know, there could be that other time, or maybe somehow you guys end up playing it in the future. And it could just very simply be external factors that stop you guys from playing this game. A lot of the times, you guys just can't seem to get on at the right time, and after enough time passes, the desire to play the game just isn't there anymore. It gets stored away all the way into the back of everyone's mind until, hey, whatever happened to this game? Damn, I kind of forgot about that game as well. This is the way I feel like most of the games that I play get forgotten, because as time passes, whether we are playing the game or not, the desire to continue it gradually decreases. It's like an hourglass, and if the game was unlucky enough to not get much playtime during that ticking time, well, there's a good chance that it won't get its time to shine anytime soon. And I think the worst part about this curse, at least for me, is that despite how many games you buy and play, there will always be that one game that will never be replaced, no matter how hard you try to. It's usually a competitive game, and for me, I have the pleasure of my game to fall back to being League of Legends.
Oh my god, bro.
Oh, hell no.
I know. Stay with me now. League is a different beast, and I can honestly make a whole video just about this game and its addictive nature, but in short, the best way I can describe its feeling is like that itch for a 2-week Minecraft server run, but on a much more severe scale. No matter how many times I try to escape this game, and regardless of the numerous times I will hit that uninstall button, this motherfucker will always come back knocking on my door. Now I've bounced between many other competitive games before, but League is for some reason the one I always go back to. Maybe it's the legacy mindset that I have, so I know the core gameplay loop of it, and I know what I'm getting myself into. I always play with a 5-stack because solo duo queue is literal hell, and there's no amount of convincing you could do to make me get into a solo duo game ever. I don't play this game as much as I used to, thank God. And it's there for the late night 5 stacks when all of us are on and there's really nothing for us to do together at that time. And it's there for all 5 of us to be collectively happy or angry most of the time. But even if it's frustrating, we are suffering together. No, seriously, how the fuck are we so bad? Like, what is this? But I think that for other groups, competitive games like these are there for when there isn't that new fresh game to play. It's something that they've poured lots of time into, where it has a sense of familiarity towards, but different enough every time you play for it not to feel repetitive that fast. And if taking breaks in between playing this game, there's usually some type of update that brings new characters, mechanics, or maps that always spark something new out of the game. It's kind of there as a fallback when we're out of things to play. Out of things to play? We ain't never out of things to play. That's a goddamn lie. Well, in reality, many of these games will go wasted, and that's just kind of the way it goes. Many will fall short of expectations and not deliver, or some external circumstances can slowly deteriorate the desire to continue playing these games. However, that's just the nature of the risk you take when buying into these games. But this curse will never go away, because there can be a few gems in the rough that can produce many great memories. Not even just that, but just finding a fun game in general. It doesn't have to be the next Fortnite or the next COD. Just a game to play with your friends, something new and fresh they have never tried before, or a similar game that gives those late night vibes. Or if it's something even beyond our expectations, we will always take that chance. And when there is a drought of that, there will always be that game we fall back to. But come on guys, why this game? And that's the curse. The curse of buying games with your friends. You know, if something like this happens to a game, it doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad game. And a lot of the games I mentioned aren't really bad games, but you know, it's just my unlucky experiences with them. But yeah, is there a way to stop this curse? Yeah, just don't buy the game. Anyways, if you want to see me play games and follow my Twitch, I'm gonna try streaming very soon. And also join our Discord. You can chill, hang around, talk about games, recommend us some co-op games that, you know, we can buy and never play.